Thanks for joining us for another conversation about hidden risks inside small businesses. Today, we're going to talk about subcontractors, the freelancers and consultants we hire because they're fast and flexible.
Hook. Imagine you hire a contractor to build a customer portal. They reuse a piece of code from another client, an account list is accidentally left accessible, and within weeks, your customer emails are scraped and sold. The contractor is gone. Your bank asks questions, regulators ask questions, customers leave. That one routine choice, reusing code and shared accounts, snowballed into a six-figure problem. We're calling this kind of outcome subcontractor shadow risk. It hides in ordinary decisions until it blows up. Today we break down why it happens and give you a short, prioritized playbook you can apply in 6 weeks.
Section 1, Operational Scenarios and Symptoms. Let's start with the everyday patterns I see. Small businesses treat contractors as cheap capacity, which is fine, until onboarding is casual and access is assumed. You get 3 common shortcuts: quick verbal agreements instead of written scopes, shared credentials because it's easier, and billing loosely tied to delivery rather than milestones. Those are symptoms. Duplicated contractor emails in your directory, build scripts using one set of credentials across clients, and invoices that show vague line items. Any one symptom won't sink you, but repeated, unreviewed behavior compounds risk. A few concrete examples. A marketing freelancer with access to your CRM accidentally exports a contact list. A contract developer stores project artifacts in their personal cloud account. A consultant signs a subcontract that gives them ambiguous rights to work product. These all start as reasonable everyday choices. The question is, which ones do you want to keep and which ones do you fix first?
From the legal lens, those reasonable choices quickly become exposure. Classification risk is first. Mislabeling someone as an independent contractor when their day-to-day looks like an employee invites wage claims and fines. Second, without explicit IP assignment language, ownership of deliverables can be unclear. So when you think you own a new feature or piece of code, you might not. Third, indemnity and insurance gaps. Many small businesses assume the contractor's personal liability will cover problems, but typical policies don't cover negligent data handling or IP disputes. The simplest contract fixes move the needle a lot. Narrow work scopes, clear IP assignment clauses, a modest indemnity that links to third-party claims, and a requirement for basic professional liability or cyber insurance. Those fixes are short, low friction, and enforceable.
It amazes me how many teams trust an email that says, "We're good," as a contract. Jessica, when you say narrow scope, what does that look like in practice? A one-paragraph statement of work or something longer?
One paragraph can work if it's precise. Scope is about clarity. What deliverable, what acceptance criteria, timeline, and who owns what after delivery. Tie payment to acceptance milestones, and include an offboarding clause that requires the contractor to transfer credentials, remove copies from personal accounts, and certify deletion of sensitive data. These don't need to be legal novels. Concise, consistent clauses and a standard engagement template are what scale.
Perfect. That panel of clauses alone is a practical win. Now, Eddie, on the cyber side, the technical shortcuts are the ones that let a single contractor turn into a breach vector. Walk us through the usual failures and the minimal controls that actually help.
Thanks, Dan. The typical failures are predictable: shared accounts and long-lived credentials, excessive permissions, and lack of logging or monitoring. Contractors are treated like internal staff. They get broad access for speed. That makes lateral movement trivial for an attacker who compromises a contractor. The good news is there are lightweight controls with high impact. Enforce least privilege access. Use short-lived credentials or just-in-time access. Require contractors to use company-managed devices or a vetted virtual workspace, and enable multi-factor authentication everywhere. Also maintain an access inventory so you know who has what at all times. Combine those with simple logging and alerting on unusual downloads or large data exports, and you've closed most of the easy avenues for data exfiltration.
So operationally, legally, and technically, we have aligned goals. Make roles and access explicit, and codify it so it stops being ad hoc. Let's use a quick panel discussion to sort ownership and prioritization. Jessica, who should own the contractor playbook in a small firm? The legal function, ops, or whoever hires?
Ownership should be shared, but anchored. The hiring manager drives scope and daily oversight. Legal should maintain the contract templates and approval thresholds, and HR or operations should own onboarding and offboarding checklists. The key is a single source of truth, one checklist that ties contract, access, billing, and insurance verification to the hiring event.
Eddie, operationally, who runs access controls for contractors?
IT or whoever manages systems, but they need clear triggers from hiring. A new contractor can't be a mystery. Hiring approvals should feed an access ticket that grants only what's needed and expires automatically, and make offboarding automatic too. No manual remember to revoke access steps. Automate what you can, document the rest.
Great, that gives us a structure. Now, Section 3, the actionable playbook and prioritized 6-week checklist. We'll make this realistic. Low friction, high impact steps you can start this week and finish in 6 weeks. Week 0 to 1. Screening and quick wins. Create a single intake form for every contractor that captures scope, required systems access, and insurance status. Start requiring MFA and unique accounts, no shared logins. Put a simple statement of work template into use. These are fast to implement.
Week 2. Contract standardization. Adopt a short engagement addendum with 4 core clauses: clear deliverable and acceptance criteria, explicit IP assignment, basic indemnity tied to third-party claims, and an insurance minimum. Make that addendum mandatory for engagements over a threshold you set. Say anything above $5,000 or touching customer data.
Week 3-4. Access and technical controls. Enforce least privilege, use short-lived credentials or time-bound access, and require company-managed credentials with MFA. Start logging contractor activity on critical systems and set alerts for large exports or unusual access patterns. These steps reduce the attack surface quickly.
Week 5. Insurance and indemnity checks. Verify contractor insurance where relevant and match indemnity language to real exposures. Jessica, this is where small businesses often skip the paperwork. What's a practical minimum?
A practical minimum is professional liability and a cyber liability rider for anyone handling sensitive data. If you can't require insurance across the board, require higher documentation and supervision for uninsured contractors and limit their access accordingly.
Week 6. Offboarding and redundancy. Implement an offboarding checklist that revokes accounts, collects deliverables, and requires a contractor's sign-off certifying deletion of business data. Simultaneously, document knowledge transfer for critical roles so you aren't reliant on a single person.
Recap and quick wins. Top 3 immediate actions. 1. Stop shared credentials and enable MFA. 2. Start using a short engagement addendum that includes IP assignment. 3. Automate access expiry tied to the engagement end. Common traps: relying on verbal agreements, assuming personal devices are safe by default, and ignoring insurance gaps.
One last practical tip. Treat contractors the way you treat temporary staff when it comes to access. If you wouldn't let a temp roam the office with a key card, don't give a contractor broad system access.
And legally, keep it simple and consistent. A single, well-used template with minimal but precise clauses will do more to protect you than occasional bespoke contracts.
If you want the compact checklist and template bundle we discussed, go to hiddenbusinessrisk.com for the Hidden Business Risk Briefing. Download the contractor engagement addendum, the 6-week checklist, and sample offboarding form. That's hiddenbusinessrisk.com. No fluff, just practical tools.
Okay, that's it for today. Thanks Jessica and Eddie for the sharp, practical advice. And thanks to everyone listening. Take one small item from the checklist this week, disable shared credentials, or adopt that short addendum, and you'll already be reducing hidden risk. We'll be back with another episode focused on routine decisions that compound into outsized consequences. Head to hiddenbusinessrisk.com for the briefing and templates. Until next time.